The wedge-shaped interceptor, or the RZ-1 Awing starfighter, was designed by Wallace Cantwell Blessex I and manufactured at Quate Systems Engineering and a underground cell of rebel engineers. The Awing was small, nimble, and fast, and still had incredible maneuverability. The Rebel Alliance would form Green Squadron that utilized modified A-Wings during the Battle of Endor. Green Squadron leader Arvel Synod would run his A-Wing straight into the Executor class star dreadnought, blowing apart the bridge and destroying the behemoth of a dreadnought. Modified A-Wings had engines more powerful than TIE interceptors. The A-Wing brand new will run you about 175,000 credits. But if you want to end up on 5 different star systems after using the hyperdrive, please be my guest for 90,000 credits used. We're basically giving it away. The Bwing was designed by the Mon Calamari quarry of Mon Cala. He built the heavily armored prototype Bwing on the planet Shantipol, where Hera Syndulla would test fly it and approve it for the Rebel Alliance, where then Bail Organa found a manufacturer for it. The Rebel Alliance would utilize these B-Wings as blockade busters and anti-capital bomber thanks to their armament of torpedoes, heavy laser cannons, and a composite laser beam. The B-Wing had so much firepower it could divert it to its lasers and vaporize an entire skyline or mountain. The B-Wing will cost you around 220,000 credits. The Legends Cwing was crewed by one pilot, 2 passengers, and an optional gunner, with cargo capacity twice as stronger than the X-Wing in Legends. The Cwing had a hyperdrive and was armed with 4 heavy cannons and a proton torpedo launcher. The Legends Cwing runs you around 130,500 credits. The Ewing was a line of starfighters used by the populace during the Resistance era. Many pilots and mechanics modified them, like bounty hunter Selena Chandra. The Ewing was an escort fighter manufactured by Freytech Incorporated and was piloted by a pilot in astromech. After the fall of the Galactic Empire, the New Republic purchased them for their patrols and escorts and their fleets. E-Wings were also found stationed on Lothal, piloted by Captain Porter and Lieutenant Callahan. The F-Wing does not exist in canon or legends. The Legends G-type light shuttle, or the G-Wing, were small transports during the High Republic era. The G-Wing was produced by Horst Kessel Drive Incorporated. The G-Wing had 10-ton cargo capacity, double laser cannons, 3 passengers, and 1 pilot. The cost of this vessel is 200,000 credits. The Legends BTS A2 Long Range Strike Fighter or Bomber, or as the Rebel Alliance puts it, an H-Wing. The H-Wing was produced by Cohen Sayer Manufacturing and was armed with ion proton cannons and a medium laser turret. The crew consisted of 1 pilot, 2 gunners or bombardiers, and 1 passenger. The Legends H-Wing was one of the most hardest hitting Rebel starfighters, right behind the B-Wing. The I-Wing does not exist in any canon or Legends material. The J-Wing does not exist in any canon or Legends material. The Legends BTL S8 Kwing Assault Starfighter, or Kwing for short, was a heavy bomber and starfighter that was produced by Cohen Sayer Manufacturing. Although the Kwing relied on a capital ship for its lack of hyperdrives, the armament was legendary with concussion missiles, proton plasma ion torpedoes, advanced homing missiles, quad turbo laser turret, and a medium laser turret. This large heavy bomber consisted of 1 pilot, 1 bombardier, and 2 gunners. The K-Wing also costed you around 250,000 credits. The Ewing does not exist in any canon or Legends media. The Mwing was manufactured by Cohen Sayer Manufacturing and was armed with 2 heavy laser cannons and tow cables. The Mwing required 1 pilot with an optional co-pilot, and 3 ABY, a few Mwings would be stationed at Echo Base on Hoth and Legends. The N-Wing, the O-Wing, the P-Wing, the Q-Wing, the R-Wing, and the S-Wing does not exist in any canon or Legends media. The Legends R60 T-Wing Interceptor was manufactured by Horst Kessel Drive Incorporated to replace the famous A-Wing, but due to how cheap the craft was, the Rebellion would utilize the A-Wings more. The T-Wing had 2 light laser cannons and proton torpedoes. Along with a hyperdrive, the T-Wing costs you around 60,000 credits. The UT-60D Ewing Starfighter support craft or Ewing was produced by Income Corporations. The Rebellion utilized these with targeting systems and armaments like 2 laser cannons mounted heavy blasters and M45 repeating ion blasters. The crew had 2 pilots and 2 gunners with 8 passengers. The Alliance used the U-Wing as gunships and troop transports. The U-Wing cost you around 65,000 credits. The Alpha 3 Nimbus class Vwing Starfighter or Vwing was designed by the man who also designed ships such as the A-Wing and the Jedi Intercepted Delta 7 Aether Sprite, Wolix Blissx, and manufactured by Quate Systems Engineering. During the early days of the Galactic Empire's rule, the clones and early TIE fighter pilots would primarily fly these starfighters in early skirmishes for the Imperial Navy. V-Wings relied on capital ships for hyperdrives and was armed with 2 dual rapid-fire laser cannons. The V-Wing had a socket for an astromech and played a role as an escort fighter and an interceptor because of their speed and maneuverability. The V-Wing would cost you around 120,000 credits. The W-Wing does not exist in any canon or Legends media. The T-Series X-Wing Starfighter or X-Wing was manufactured by Income Corporations and later Income Freitech Corporations. The T-Series X-Wing had many models I'll go over in a future video. The T-65B X-Wing Starfighter or the X-Wing had a Cohen-Sayer hyperdrive system and deflector shields along with an astromech socket. The hull of the T-65B was a titanium alloy with a long-range threat analysis grid, basically a mini-map telling you where all the bad guys are. The T-65B had a week of consumables and a compact life support system. The X-Wing was armed with 4 tame and back KX-9 laser cannons and proton launchers and torpedoes. A T-65B turned the Death Star to dust, and it can be yours today for only 150,000 Imperial credits. The BTL YWing Bomber Starfighter was a multi-role starfighter manufactured by Cohen-Sayer Manufacturing. The Y-Wings that survived the Clone Wars would be reutilized by the Rebel Alliance. The Y-Wing was armed with 2 laser cannons, 2 ion cannons, proton torpedoes, cluster missiles, concussion missiles, ion torpedoes, proton bombs, and limpet charges. The hull of the Y-Wing was a reinforced ala steel titanium and had shields, hyperdrive, and an astromech socket. The BTL A4 Y-Wing will cost you around 135,000 credits brand new. The Z-Wing is only mentioned once in Star Wars Legend as an ugly starfighter.